I married the nice guy. The guy who made me laugh. I married the guy who was stable, who didn't yell. I married the guy who wasn't afraid to get down on the floor and play with kids. I married the guy who laughed really loudly, who didn't seem to care if anybody was watching. I married the guy who was soft with me, who listened to me on the phone for hours. I married the nice guy.
Women.
She's separated from him now, and she's probably about to get a divorce. Yes, all the great characteristics that she just listed about that man still was not good enough. After 20 years of being married to this man that was so great to her, she still decided that it wasn't enough. I swear, some of y'all deserve to be alone. Some of y'all do not deserve to have good people in your life because you f***ed them over. And her dumb reason for separating from this man is because she was also doing for him and basically got tired of doing it. That's all that it was. Like, seriously, what more could that man have done for you? You just sound like a very ungrateful person.
He's so nice, and he's the guy that I should want. But it's like, I need a little bit of like a, you're going to send me to the psych ward, and it's just not giving that.
Boyfriends have your location, only if you have their credit card and bank account information. I still know. Do you have his ring? Do you have his last name, his bank account information? Do you have his credit card information? So why should he have your location? You ain't his wife. And even if you were his wife, you're still a grown woman.
Don't get exhausting to y'all ladies. It's the same boring, tired tape. Oh, he better give you his credit card information.
The fact that Tom Brady's wife Giselle cheated on him with a jiu-jitsu instructor, which she just, by the way, finalized a marriage with, it just is abysmal, okay? Not only was he the father of your 2 kids, this guy is known as the greatest of all time. What else does he need to do? Have you seen the guy? He looks like he's not even real. He is so beautiful, and he has 7 rings. He gave you a ring. The guy made 10 Super Bowls. He played 23 seasons in the NFL. The guy was a 5-time Super Bowl MVP, 3-time MVP in the regular season. He has 83,000 passing yards. He owns every record in the NFL as a quarterback. This guy owns every statistic known to man that he could even accomplish. He's a 15-time Pro Bowler. What else does this dude need to do? If you're telling me that Tom Brady couldn't keep a stable, happy marriage, then what am I going to get? How am I gonna ever have a stable marriage and live happily ever after? It's a myth at this point, I'm sorry. But if Tom Brady got cheated on, what? How am I supposed?
Here's the hard truth most people don't want to hear. A certain type of person is wired to obsess over the missing 10%, even if it means setting fire to the 90% that's already working. They don't lack love, stability, loyalty, or history. They lack contentment, and instead of protecting what they built, they start chasing feelings, attention, validation, or a fantasy version of life they saw online. Some people are simply never satisfied. And that one sentence explains so much of what's broken in modern relationships. Before we dive in, drop a comment. Are modern men more delusional, or is it the ladies? Hit like and subscribe so you don't miss what we expose next. This is how long-term relationships collapse. Not because everything was bad, but because everything wasn't perfect. Social media convinces people that if you're not constantly fulfilled, excited, or living your best life, then you're being cheated by life itself. So they jump. New attention, new validation, new promises, same mindset. And here's the irony. No one likes to admit that selfish pursuit almost never leads upward. It leads sideways, then downward. The grass wasn't greener. It was just filtered. The excitement fades. The consequences don't. And when reality finally hits, accountability is nowhere to be found. Instead, it's the partner's fault, society's fault, trauma's fault. I deserve happiness becomes the ultimate shield against responsibility. Because admitting I destroyed something valuable, chasing a fantasy, is too painful for the ego. This isn't about gender. It's about mindset. A lack of gratitude mixed with entitlement is a dangerous combo. And people who never learn to appreciate the 90% they have will spend their entire lives chasing a 10% that keeps moving until there's nothing left to lose.
I don't ever want this to be a safe space where a man can feel like he can open up to me. Die, literally.
Well, wasn't that just elegant? And sadly, there are quite a few individuals out there, both women as well as some men, that really do believe that men's mental health is something that is completely acceptable to be joked about, made light of, and in many cases completely dismissed out of hand, and that making statements like this is perfectly acceptable. The reason being is that there are some out there that genuinely believe that since men have held most of the power and authority in the world throughout history, that they cannot face any kind of prejudice, discrimination, or sexism based on that historical fact. Now, let me ask all of you out there, how much sense does that make, that a person cannot face discrimination or prejudice based on a characteristic that they cannot control? And ironically, some of those individuals will actually call themselves feminists. Yet, if the exact same video was made about women, that would absolutely be chaotic, wouldn't it? So, exactly how much sense does it make for some individuals to hold these types of opinions?
And I told you boys to pick up your clothes, and who left the wet towel on the bed? Swear to God, sometimes I feel like just going on strike. What would you all do if I went on strike, huh? What would you do? I'm talking to you!
So yeah, one of my good friends, he's getting a divorce. You want to know what happened? Let me tell you. So she was complaining, saying, you're not spending enough time with me, you're not spending enough time with our newborn, like, you're always working too much. He said, well, you said you want me to pay all of the bills and you want me to take care of everything in the house, the groceries, everything, your car insurance, your car note, everything. So I had to do Uber Eats, I had to do Uber on the side. Like, I don't have enough time to spend time with you guys because I am trying to cover all of the bills. She said, you are so inconsiderate, you don't even understand how I feel. Like, all I want you to do is spend time with me, I'm your wife, and spend time with your child. Like, we're a family. And he said, okay, you know what? I'm gonna cut down on the hours I'm working, doing Uber and stuff like that. I'm gonna take off more. Why did this man's wife say, hey, can you send me like $600? I'm gonna go to Marshall's, TJ Maxx, get a couple things, and like I also wanna get like my hair done, my nails done. He said, I'm sorry, babe, I've been trying to cut back on the hours. I don't have that. He said, no, babe, you said for me to spend more time with you guys, so like I'm not working, so I don't have the luxury to send you all that money that I used to send you. And she was just like, I'm done. I can't be with a broke man. I'm so done. And now she's taking half of everything. So when your man works a lot and provides for everything, it's not enough. You want him to spend time with you. Okay, so he cuts his work hours down and spends time with you. And now he can't give you the same luxuries as before. And now he's a broke bum. Broke. When did you get up and say, hey, I'm gonna make my own money? Sometimes I'll be having a bad day and I'll realize, hold on, a lot of men are going through this right now. I'm literally okay. My problems is not that bad.
And somehow, she's still positioned as the victim. This is the familiar script we've all seen before. The moment accountability shows up, the narrative flips. The man goes from provider, partner, and father to selfish, controlling, or emotionally abusive for the crime of having limits. Not neglect, not betrayal, not violence, boundaries, financial restraint, responsibility. Let's slow this down. You have a household, you have a child, you have shared obligations, and yet the man trying to manage finances, prioritize stability, and protect the family unit gets painted as the villain, while the person contributing little beyond complaints is framed as oppressed. That's not empowerment. That's entitlement, dressed up as victimhood. And notice the imbalance here. One side is focused on duty, working, providing, holding things together. The other is focused on desire, wants, impulses, and lifestyle expectations with no regard for consequences. When those wants aren't instantly met, it's no longer a discussion. It's a moral accusation. What makes this even more serious is the child in the middle of it all. This isn't just two adults having a disagreement. This is a family being dismantled over short-term gratification, tearing apart a household. Because discretionary money wasn't handed over on demand isn't a tragedy. It's a warning sign of misplaced priorities. And yet, accountability still gets dodged. Instead of asking, what am I contributing? Or how does this affect our child? The focus stays locked on, why aren't my wants being funded? That's not partnership. That's consumption. This pattern shows up again and again in modern relationships. Responsibility is framed as control. Sacrifice is framed as oppression. And the person trying to keep the ship afloat is blamed for rocking the boat, while the one drilling holes claims they're just expressing themselves. At some point, the truth becomes unavoidable when someone sees themselves as the victim in every scenario, even while leaving destruction behind. The problem was never the marriage. It was the mindset.
Tradition of a man holding a door open for a woman was created during a very misogynistic time and is actually a very misogynistic tradition. It was created and is symbolic of the fact that women were not able to step into certain rooms without a man leading the way. And it is also symbolic of the fact that when a couple entered the room, it was through a man opening the door first, meaning the man had to grant the woman permission.
I'm 100% convinced these women don't know what the hell they want. At one end, you'll say that chivalry is dead. There's no more mannerable men. Nobody's being courteous. Then on the other end, you have women like this saying that chivalry and holding the door open for a woman is misogynistic. Y'all are making problems out of things that should never be problems. Ever. You want men to be rude to you? I don't understand.
There's a pattern here that's impossible to ignore. Some people don't actually want solutions. They want complaints. For them, dissatisfaction becomes a hobby. It's almost performative. One grievance isn't enough. It has to be louder, more dramatic, more emotionally charged than the last. And over time, it turns into a weird social competition. Who can frame themselves as the most wronged, the most oppressed, the most misunderstood? What makes this especially effective is the language they reach for. Drop a few emotionally loaded buzzwords, and suddenly the conversation is no longer about facts, behavior, or contribution. It's about feelings and moral posturing. The moment words like misogyny, patriarchy, narcissist, or gender pay gap enter the room, accountability quietly exits through the back door. Now, notice what's missing from these complaints. There's rarely self-reflection, rarely responsibility, rarely a serious attempt to fix anything. The labels do all the heavy lifting. Once a label is applied, the other person is automatically guilty and the speaker is automatically absolved. No evidence required. This creates a culture where being perpetually offended is rewarded while being constructive is ignored. Victimhood becomes social currency. The louder the complaint, the more validation it attracts. And the more validation it attracts, the less incentive there is to actually grow, compromise, or contribute. The irony is that real oppression doesn't need theatrics. Real injustice doesn't rely on buzzwords to be taken seriously. But when everyday inconveniences are framed as systemic abuse, it cheapens legitimate struggles and turns personal dissatisfaction into a public performance. At that point, complaining isn't about truth anymore. It's about control. Control of the narrative, control of sympathy, control of outcome. And once someone learns they can win arguments by claiming victim status instead of improving behavior, they'll keep playing that card, even as everything around them quietly falls apart.
Making angry responses to my video calling them losers because men get called losers on this app every single day. And that's part of the reason why men are typically better at taking accountability than women. You know why? We tell men the truth. Men tell other men the truth. They will tell their friend, hey, you're fat. Hey, you're not good looking. Hey, you're not smart. And mean it. And you know what happens with those men? Oftentimes, they work on it and actually get better. However, let's take a look at us, ladies, because we do not tell each other the truth about almost anything. You will let your girlfriend go out there raggedy, and you'll be in her comments, yes, slay, boss, queen, you look like a 10 out of 10.
Women are so dumb. Some women, not all, are so dumb. Well, let me not call anybody dumb because that's not nice. Let me say some of their ideas and thought process is dumb. okay? Because I am in my bed, laying in the dark, comfortable, rubbing my feet together, and I am scrolling through TikTok, meddling. And I run across a video that leads me down a rabbit hole of a collective of women that believe that women should start women's only communities. And one particular woman said, yeah, all of the wealthy women, I don't know why y'all haven't done this yet. Y'all can take your money and fund the community. And then all of the women who like to build and like to work with animals and they like to grow stuff, y'all can do that. And for all of the stuff that we don't want to do, we can hire a man to come in and do the work that we can't or don't want to do because, ooh, sanitation, who wants to bother with that? But then they have to be from an approved vendors list. And this is going to be so women-centered that we won't even have any male animals in this neighborhood, in this community. It's dumb to think that that would work. And let me tell you why. Number one, some women, most women, not all, but some, got their money from marrying into it or inheriting it. So if you're wanting to build a community that has nothing to do with men, that includes their money. So that's gone. You have no money, no real money anyway. If you think that you can have no animals that are male, how are you going to repopulate your food supply? Cows need bulls. I think it's bulls that impregnate the cows. After y'all eat the cows, how you going to get some new cows? You going to buy it? That doesn't make sense. You need them pregnant, which means you need what? Male animals. If it's nothing but women in his population, in this community, what are you going to do when all those women get old? Because there are no male children and there are no males in the community to get anybody pregnant, to have any new babies. So that means literally this community would just die off eventually. And last but not least, and this is the part that tickles me, y'all believe that men are the only danger when we know that's not true. There are a lot of dangerous women out there, especially behind a man they want, right? We have watched women unalive other women because she with my man or she with the man I like. So what do y'all think is going to happen when this community of women that have not seen a man in God knows how long has one of those vendor approved contractors come in to do the work you don't want to do? Oh, baby, they are going to be fighting over that one peen. And somebody's going to get jealous that he picked her instead of them.